Let me show you how you can make your own training schedule. Whether you're training for a 10K or a marathon, there has to be some sort of structure in your training, and that is where the training schedule comes in. Let's have a look at how you can set this up for yourself. Last week I got an email from somebody who got a bunch of different information and training plans from the internet and made it into his own training schedule. Now he emailed me the schedule and asked me if I wanted to look at it and see if I had some tips. Now he was training for speed, but also he wants to run the Dopey Challenge in January, so he had multiple goals for his schedule, and he actually made a schedule throughout the whole year. Now you can go to my website and order a custom training schedule, and I'll make one for 30 bucks. But I told him, as I'm telling you now, if you spend a little bit of time on this, you can actually do this yourself. I gave him some tips on what to change, and I'm sure that he can set up a great schedule now. So let me explain how you can do the same thing. Now, business-wise, this might not be the best move, but I'm here to help. So yeah, there's actually no need to order a schedule. Just watch this video, and when you do, of course, it does help if you give it a thumbs up when you like the video, so that yeah, more people get to see it. It does help the channel. Now, most training schedules will be about 16 to 20 weeks long. For a half marathon or a marathon, I mostly stick to a 20-week plan, depending on how well prepared you already are. For today's example, we'll take a 20-week training plan for a half marathon. Basically, for all distances, the principle is the same. You just adjust the distance for the most part. I will assume that the schedule is for a runner, so it's not starting at zero. If you're training for a half marathon or even a marathon, 20 weeks is not enough if you normally never run. Of course, it can be done, but yeah, the risk that you're putting your body through something that is going to hurt it and get injured is very high. So you want to train longer and make sure that you have a foundation. For now, let's say that the foundation is 5K. You can run 5K and be comfortable with that, so we'll start with that. Now, 20 weeks is a long time to train for something, so we'll chop it up into bite-sized pieces. So first, let's chop it up into 4-week pieces. So you'll have 5 sets of 4 weeks. Now the reason for this is that every 4th week is a rest week. So you'll be building up for 3 weeks, and then the 4th week is an easy week. Now it's not a do nothing week and catch up with new stuff on Netflix. We're still running, just making it easier on ourselves. We all live busy lives, and sometimes it's tough to find time to go running. But in order to get to your goal, you need to get your runs in. Now, I won't advise to go running every single day. You need to recover as well. But the sweet spot for most people is 3 runs a week. So that's what we're going to be working with the schedule. So let's see what we have to do per week, starting with week 1. We want to do a distance run. We're starting at 5K, so our distance run for week 1 is 5K. The distance run is a run that you do at an easy pace, your training pace. Now the second run is either another distance run, or if you want to work on your speed a little bit more, you can pick a shorter distance at a faster pace. So for instance, a 3K at race pace, or as fast as you can go while still being able to sustain that speed for the entire distance of the run. Or you could run another 5K at an easy pace. The third run is where we're going to mix it up a little bit. This is where we'll work on our speed a little bit more, and yeah, it's going to keep our training a little bit more exciting. I'm a big fan of doing fartlek runs, which if you don't know what that is, I made some videos about that explaining exactly what they are. While you make your training plan, all you have to do is just add to the sets that you're running, or add to the distance that you're speeding up. Or you could do interval runs and run 2 sets of 400 meters 5 times with a break of 1 minute in between runs and 8 minutes in between sets. And you can build that up each week. Make the frequency bigger, the distance longer, or the break shorter as you go further along in your training plan. So we have 3 runs for week 1. In week 2, we want to slowly build on that. And the key word here is slowly. The advantage of you making your own schedule is knowing what you're able to do, what your strengths are, your weaknesses, and how much change in your schedule you think you can handle. For your long run, you can add 1K to the distance. If you're doing 2 long runs, keep the first one the same distance and increase on the second one. If you're doing a faster paced run, you might want to leave the distance the same or just increase slightly, just see what you think you can handle. Your fartlek or interval runs will have to increase in runs. So for instance, 6 times 500 meters. Now let's jump ahead to the last 4 weeks of the schedule just to see where we're going with this. The last day of your schedule is your race day. And seeing that most races are held on a Sunday, That fits perfectly in a schedule as the last day of the 20 weeks. The distance for this day, of course, is the distance of your race. The days before your race, you want to taper so that your body is ready and rested for the race. The length of your taper depends on how long you think you need to recover from your runs. I normally take it easy the week of the race. I have slightly easier runs the week before, but I still get at least one long run in. Now the question is, what is the longest distance you will run in your training plan? I don't think you should actually run the distance of your race during your training. For a marathon, I think running a 30K run as your longest run should get you pretty well prepared. For a half marathon, I like to get up to 18K. The longest run in your schedule, I like to put in the first week of the last 4-week cycle. That way you still have plenty of time to recover before your race. Okay, back to week 5. Slowly build up your distance and keep doing this 1K at a time. Once you get to 10K, it might actually get a little bit easier to increase the distance by a little bit more. So jumping from 10K to 12K and from 12K to 14K. Now your interval runs, they also increase, but not just in runs. The amount of sets also goes up. But you might actually consider to change things up a little bit the next 4 weeks and do fartlek runs if you've been doing interval runs, or the other way around, just to spice it up a little bit. Now week 8 is another rest week, so that looks the same as week 5. And for week 9, you can skip it up to 12K and get a little bit more comfortable with this. Do the same distance for 2 weeks and then go up to 14K. And of course, week 12 is another rest week, so back to 12K. By now the 12K should be a little bit more comfortable. You ran 14K already, so in week 13, you can either just go up to 15K, or if you feel comfortable enough, go up to 16K and get comfortable with that distance in the next 4 weeks. If you go up to 16K, try and go for 16, 16, 17, 16. If you can make 16K a comfortable distance to run, you're in great shape for your half marathon already. The last 4 weeks though, we'll start with stepping it up. It's the 18K long run, the longest run in your schedule. A hellish task, but once you've run it, your training runs will get shorter and you'll be ready for your half marathon. Now the next week you want to take it a little bit easier, but you're still putting in a long run, another 16K to get you more comfortable with that distance. And as I said before, the last 2 weeks, try and keep it fairly easy, but still schedule some runs, but do less than you're used to, especially the last week before your race. Now that's basically it for the runs, but don't forget that you also need to do strength training at least twice a week. If you're doing a lot of training, it's important to do this to prevent injury and to make you stronger overall. You can leave the schedule like this and just know that you have to do these runs these weeks, or you can actually fill in the specific days that you want to do it, whatever works best for you. I've done both ways and I really don't have a preference, but seeing that plans sometimes change and you might want to switch days, sometimes easier just to leave it for the week and see where the days fall. Just see what works best for you. So now you know how to set up your own schedule. It takes a little bit of time, but you know best where you're ready to start and what you're comfortable with, what you enjoy, and yeah, perhaps how fast you feel that you can improve. I'm sure you'll be able to work it out and make a great schedule for yourself this way, and as long as you stick to it, you'll be ready for your race. If this was helpful for you, make sure that you like this video. Until next time, get out there and run.